Welcome to Kellyanne Cares, a one-of-a-kind show created to motivate, stimulate, educate, and inspire you, personally and professionally. Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm an entrepreneur, patient advocate, content creator, and author. You may know me from the Everything is Messy book, brand, and podcast. But what you may not know is how hard I had to work to get me to where I am today. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And in this season, I'm more driven and extremely passionate about my purpose to help you save the time, money, and energy it takes to be happier and get healthier with your mind, body, business, and life. Tune in every week to hear raw, unfiltered conversations from myself and my incredible guests as we discuss trending topics, share stories of resilience, and chat about all things health, wealth, healing, and wellness. Whether you're here to listen, learn, or laugh, I promise to bring awareness and add more value to your day. Take this time to relax and recharge. Listen, life is short. Invest in yourself. Be loud, be different, be you, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. Buckle up because today's podcast experience starts now. One more thing, sharing is caring. I would love your thoughts on today's episode. Head on over to Apple Podcasts to rate, review, and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. Want to continue the conversation? Let's connect online. You can find me at kellyannegorman.com and all my social links are in the show notes. Now let's get into today's show. Hello, and welcome back to a brand new mini episode where today I'm going to be sharing a little behind the scenes of why I started podcasting and how it can completely change your life. Now, if you're new here, my name is Kelly. I have been podcasting since 2017, and I did not plan on becoming a podcaster whatsoever. Very long story short, I was diagnosed with a disease that was supposed to leave me blind and paralyzed. At the end of the day, the only way I could make money was by using my voice, but I was on Facebook Lives sharing my story of having MS and NMO and these other chronic illnesses, and I was listening to Gary Vee like repeatedly every single day, and he just has that cut to the chase, no holds bar attitude, and that's what I basically took on. And I was like, okay, how can I help more people living with an autoimmune disease, but also with their business and using LinkedIn? I have been going strong on LinkedIn since I think like 2012, and stay tuned because later on this week, I'm going to do an episode about how you can upgrade your LinkedIn profile to make sure that you are using it to the best of your advantage, whether you're looking for a new job or just using it to expand your business, repurpose your show, so many other things I'm going to be sharing. So stay tuned for that episode. But in the beginning, I launched this show. It was titled The Happy Workaholic Podcast. That was my brand. The show was all about business, LinkedIn, and my life with an autoimmune disease. I wanted a creative outlet. I wanted a way to make money. I wanted a way to help more patients and people suffering with chronic illness and somehow make a difference in the world. I'm like, okay, if I can help one more patient in this space somewhere around the world, if one person listens and I can help them find the right doctor, find the right diagnosis, I'm doing my part in the world. Like, that makes me feel good. That's what helps me go to bed at night, by putting content out into the world that can help other people. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor or an attorney, but I just played the part of a professional patient and as well as a lawyer. But those episodes are about 100 episodes back, where I just got, oh my God, I can't speak, where I discussed my, see, when I talk about these topics, I have such PTSD, so that's why I try to talk fast to get through them. And sometimes I stutter because I just get in my head about it. But I have so many episodes on how I was misdiagnosed, the whole story, all the doctors involved. I still can't believe I don't have a cease and desist to this day. That just proves to you what a good attorney I was. And I share the entire medical malpractice legal cases, all the stories. There were 6 of them on the show. I then rebranded the show to Everything is Messy when I launched my book over the pandemic, as well as my e-commerce store. And something just didn't feel right. So I wanted a more personal connection. So I actually rebranded to Kellyanne Cares just a couple months ago. And this just feels right. This feels like more at home. And the best thing about podcasting and creating content is that it's the best space to be creative. There's no rules in podcasting. I've been preaching this since I started developing shows after I launched my own. Here's the thing. when I was in the online space, which I still am, so many other business coaches and online entrepreneurs like myself, they were asking me like how I launched my show. And I just put a program together. You always want to create things that you wish existed. I had no idea. I've told this story so many times on so many episodes too, how the hell to launch a podcast. I literally just figured it out. I've been using Blueberry as my host since 2017. Hands down the best service, the easiest platform to use. This show is heard in almost 100 countries as of today. There's almost 40,000 of you that tune in each and every week, which is absolutely insane. And I could not be more grateful for the opportunity to have this platform so that I can continuously help more people, whether it's with personal issues or professional issues. So I want to help you level up, just like I wrote in my book, personally and professionally. So that is the whole purpose of the show. But I want your mind, body, business, and life to be going to that next level that you deserve to be at as well. So obviously I talk about mental health all the time. I talk about health and wellness. So that's why you've been hearing from these incredible guests I've had on the show over the last couple of months about these topics, because these are things that I'm constantly like researching. These are topics that I feel like if I bring on guests that they'll provide more content for you that I'm not well versed on. This is why I bring on guests for specific topics. But going back to why I started, I wanted to help other people living with an autoimmune disease. It was so scary. I was so lost. Then I pivoted more into, well, at the same time, I should say, more business in LinkedIn, but also pushing out content about what I was going through at that time, which was extremely difficult. I was in the darkest place of my life. I've shared every single part of that since 2017 on this show. There's not a lot of places that allow you to do that. A podcast can help you expand your business. It can help you help more people, whether it's personally or professionally. You know, I'm saying this all the time, and this is why. Like, also, at the end of the day, I really didn't know how I was going to make money to survive if I was about to go blind and paralyzed. So that's how it started. That's how I've rebranded, all of that. One of the number one questions people ask me all the time is, how do you make money from your podcast? And there's a lot of other ways. A lot of different ways, I should say. Sorry. There's three, really. You're driving traffic to your website or landing page to your own products, programs, or services that you're selling. You can run ads and pitch brands to run commercials for them. I write scripts for specific brands to pop into the show or other shows and then make them an incredible commercial. There's different ways and areas of the podcast in the production aspect where you can put those in, which also makes sense for certain types of things that you're discussing. Lastly, affiliate marketing. If you love a certain product like HelloFresh, you take Uber all the time, you love ThreadUp, you love any kind of company online, it's always asking for you to promote it to your friends, right? That's an affiliate link. If you were to put that in your show notes, like I have a bunch, I'm an affiliate for about 20 something brands, and about 10 or 12 of them I make money from. The other 10 I don't really market as much. They're just available so that these are tried and true brands that I've been working with for a long time. I don't promote anything that I haven't been using for at least 3 months and that I absolutely love. You can trust me on that. But those are the three ways that you can monetize. So you're either driving traffic to your website to sell your own products, programs, and services, commercial spots, and affiliate links. So there's so many different ways in that aspect where you can be creative. Now, when it comes to marketing and repurposing and all of that, I just want to share with you, I have so much content that I filmed. If you are interested in just like scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through Instagram Reels, there's so much information about podcasting and my specific strategies that I've created when it comes to marketing a podcast. And again, you can have your own strategies. You can have your own systems. I pride myself on being like the most organized human on the planet. And I do the same thing personally as well as professionally. Like I have systems in place for everything. And so when I develop shows for my clients, there's a whole strategy, everything that I've been creating since 2017 to help people that reach out to me to develop their own show. It's all been created like from nothing. And I just want to share that Obviously, I'm sharing the story of how I started. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Scroll back to like the last 1, 2, or 3 episodes. They're actually like video files. Well, they were video files. And then you can hear the smoke alarm, the beep going off because I didn't know how to produce yet. And I just started. So if there's something in life that you're just like, I coached a lot of people during the pandemic about this because everybody was lost and they didn't know what the hell to do with their life, whether they got furloughed or they just quit their job or we all felt like the world was ending, right? And I've already been in that position. I had to take my luxury travel business that I was working with in Las Vegas, that I created all these super high-end luxury experiences that you could not find anywhere else for you to experience as soon as you walked off your private jet. I had a luxury travel company called Landed in Luxury, and that was my life. And I had to close the doors on that and take all the business experience that I've had over the last 2 decades and create something online. And so at that point, I was just doing social media and business development and, being really strategic and helping other brands and companies in the online space grow and expand and monetize more. That's what I was doing before the podcast happened. Like, I've already had to stop doing everything at like last minute. So I already knew how that felt, So during the pandemic, I helped a lot of people get through that. And I did have the experience already going through it. And it's like really, really hard. But at the end of the day, like, you just have to wake up and be grateful that you can wake up and then just figure the rest out. I've been in that position so many times in my life where I'm just like, why isn't this working? If you scroll back to yesterday's episode, I'm talking about how you can manifest more out of life. And that's what I'm currently working on now. And just really starting to appreciate like a lot of the smaller things, because there's a whole mental health aspect coming up. But yesterday's show was all about manifesting. You can tune in later on this week for all different episodes, like I mentioned, but honing in on the marketing aspect and growing and being creative, a podcast can do all of that. And then it can also completely change your life, because you're creating a community around the topics that you're discussing, whether you're looking for a community or the community is looking for you. This is why it's really important to SEO your podcast titles and your show notes, because when people are searching for content, you want to make sure that you're showing up. Otherwise, it's like an invisible show. What's the point? You're wasting your time, money, and energy, developing, producing, and speaking to you're not going to have an audience. So I'm going to have the hiccups. So that's the point where I wanted to share, like, if you're looking for content on the how, the why, the what, the when, like all of that, please refer to my TikTok and my Instagram Reels, where you can see all the content that I filmed literally over 2 years ago, moving into the pandemic, how I filmed I filmed the entire behind the scenes and all of it, what it takes to actually rebrand a show. And I did that over the weekend. A lot of the times when I launch something, I do it fast, and that just had to happen. I did a whole show on that. It has to do with Gabby Bernstein, who is one of my online mentors. She's incredible. And if you're not familiar with her, just go follow her right now. But it's so important that you create a show that's going to help people, that's going to serve a purpose in this world, because at the end of the day, you're going to just feel so much more satisfied. And then if you choose to monetize it, now you know how. So just head to my TikTok and my Instagram Reels and check out all of that content if you're interested in that, because they're short and sweet little videos. I do have some of my YouTube shorts, but I think the majority of them are, I believe, on my TikTok. And you can seriously scroll back like mid-pandemic. I think that's when I started filming a lot of that content. And also another show I'm going to be talking on this topic is creating content and how not to burn out. And because I've definitely been burnt out, because you create content for a living, you're constantly being creative, and then you hit like a mental roadblock, you need a mental health moment, a big break, or you just need time off. And how to avoid that, I'm sharing all of my favorite tips and tricks, my best ones, on an upcoming episode this week, another little mini episode. But when it comes to growing your audience and growing the show, this is another way that podcasting can completely change your life, because you are on all different social media platforms, right? So I have different audiences on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Medium. It's all over Instagram, Facebook. Certain audiences, a certain type of person is looking for specific content. So another thing I like to be organized with is if I'm doing series. You always want somebody to come to your website and be able to click on a series and then see all of those episodes. Because, when I launched before, in the very beginning in 2017, it was a show about business, LinkedIn, life with an autoimmune disease. You might not have an autoimmune disease and know anybody that does. So why would you listen to those shows? You want to hear about business or LinkedIn or both. So I needed to have a home, like a little hub for all these types of episodes. And that's what I do for my clients as well. I always create a series landing page on their websites when I'm developing their show. That way the audience has somewhere to go. It's nice and organized, just another strategic system that I have. But when it comes to repurposing or rebranding, it's really up to you on how you want to create a funnel, but funnels are really, really important. If you have followed any coach online or something online, even clothing, like there's always a funnel in place, a sales funnel. So I have created the same thing with repurposing podcast episodes, which is how I got to the show to where it is today. Being able to wake up every morning and just like journal out what I'm feeling and make a list of all the shows I'm going to create, pitch guests that I thought would never come on my show, be as creative. I've always been a creative type. I was a makeup artist for about 20 years. I traveled the world for about 10. And then I was creating these luxury experiences and I worked in luxury travel for years. And now I'm in the audio version of that. And it's unbelievable, like how much content that you can create in a short period of time if you're really strategic about things. So going back to the growth, I use an app called Ifttt. It's called If This Then That. Well, it stands for If This Then That. I've done so many TikToks on this app, so go over there and check them out. But basically, that's what I use as my funnel. And then I use another website called repurpose.io that helps me with the video aspect. There's actually, I don't even use like a quarter of what it is capable of. And my future assistant's going to be taking care of all of that because it's a lot of work. Whether you're a podcast host, producer, marketer, somebody that's pitching guests, like I basically do the jobs of like 6 different humans, which is insane. But doing this for so many years, I am really strategic with my time and I make sure that I do certain things on certain days because that's just how my brain works. But if you are pitching guests, I also have a whole system on pitching brands and guests and how I produce shows and how I put all the files together. This is just another way of me being creative. Like there's no rules. You can make it your own. You can have a completely different intro and outro and show description and graphics and way you do commercials and types of music. That's royalty free, of course. Whether it's with the SEO, the marketing, again, how you're growing your audience, how you write your show notes, like how you push out your content on social media. It's all going to be different, and that's what you want. There have been so many instances where I've seen my content replicated, sometimes verbatim. And I'm like, really? But what is that saying where they copy you? It's like flattery. I can't think of it right now because I've only had like a half a coffee, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's disappointing and it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, you're like, thanks for copying me because you liked it that much. Like, what are you going to do? So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're doing your own content, you're being as creative as possible, and you're doing it to help others, to serve others. You can have a show on entertainment that's going to help make people laugh. You can have a show on, scary, what are those? I never listen to them. Oh, true crime. I hate scary shit. But true crime has like a massive cult following. And I've just always been different. I've always like juggled a lot of different things. And my show is also the same, but now I've kind of honed in on having it with focusing on your mind, body, business, and life. I want to bring in more guests that are experts in these topics. And I want to show that creating a podcast can truly change your life just as it has with mine, because this was not the plan. Every morning I get to wake up and I'm like, okay, who's on my pitching list? Who's on my brand list? Who's on my development list? What shows am I producing? Who am I writing for today? Like, Never in my life would I think I would be a writer. Never in my life did I think I would be talking for a living. And never in my life did I think I would strain my vocal cords by doing too much. So again, if you didn't listen to yesterday's episode or 315, the reason why I'm doing these little mini episodes is because I, again, strain my vocal cords and I can't talk for a long period of time without like sounding, I keep saying like an 85-year-old cigar smoking man because it's basically what I sound like, or that I went on like a tequila bender in Vegas, something like that. I'm starting to like feel it now. So this is the purpose behind, doing really short and sweet mini episodes for you this week. And also there's a lot of topics I wanted to cover. So again, I'm organizing them into specific shows. So I want to actually talk to you about the program that I have created. There's a number of different podcast opportunities that I have created if you are interested in working with me today. And I say today because you never know if tomorrow's promised or not. And if you are ready, the time is now. You can't just sit around and wait and think about something. You need to make a list. I talk all about this in my book, which by the way, I'm in the middle of moving. I have about a half a case of books left signed. So if you're interested, you know where to find me on TikTok and on Instagram, on LinkedIn. Send me a message and I'll pop one in the mail for you today. But see, now my voice is starting to go. But I wanted to make sure that you're aware of everything that I've created, because a lot of the programs I don't really promote. They're just there, but they're really, really good. And I spent months creating these because I wanted to make sure that people searching for podcast development or production or just learning had something available that I wish existed in 2017 that I could have purchased. I'm definitely going to lose my voice soon. So there's a couple options. First of all, I have one-on-one hourly coaching. Second, I have monthly podcast production. Something else I do for a couple of my clients is I just write their show notes. I actually don't even produce their show anymore. I just write for them. So making sure everything is SEO friendly as well as their titles, and making sure just the notes are like pure perfection so that people can come across and find their shows, especially when they have guests on. I don't really promote that, but I do it for a couple of clients. Then I have my Start Your Podcast Today program, which is basically one-on-one coaching. You have me like in your back pocket, but at the same time, you can learn. It's all audio, video, and written on-demand content. So you can just learn how to launch your podcast and then ask me any questions along the way and on your own time. So say you're working full time, you have a family of 4, 5, 6, whatever. Say you're just slammed. Say you just are curious and you're like dipping your feet in now. That's something that I would suggest is Start Your Podcast Today, because it's on your own time. So at the same time, you're going through something and you're like, oh, I'm stuck with a production. Oh, I don't know which part to do for the Ifttt funnel. I don't know if this verbiage makes sense in my show notes. I don't know if this SEO even makes sense to me. You ask me, I reply in video or audio. Like I'm literally in your back pocket. Now, the first program that I launched is called Your Podcast Production. So if you go to yourpodcastproduction.com, you can see all the information there. And this is it's a complete done for you service. So I'm literally going to read verbatim from my website because I want you to understand how much is involved in launching a show. But when you have somebody do it for you, we literally get on a few calls and I just make magic happen. So Your Podcast Production is a complete done-for-you podcast service that puts you on the map and aligns you and your brand to have a successful, enjoyable, and profitable audio experience. That's the most important part. You want to have fun. There are so many, I'm going to be talking about this on an upcoming mini episode about, like I mentioned earlier, burnout when you're creating content. Like you want to enjoy what you're doing. Life is too short. If you're not enjoying it, like why are you doing it? So again, I believe that if you keep it simple, organized, and original, it is literally the most efficient and effective route to go. I am going to now read you what the podcast development actually includes because it's a lot. And a lot of people just think they can hop on an Anchor app and just make a successful show, which I guess you could, but there's other ways and so many other things you need to implement into a show to make it a pure success, to make it as creative as possible, to make it hit home for the listeners that are searching for this type of content. Because again, this is why you're doing it. I don't do and create all of these lists and content for myself. I'm doing it to help others. That's why I'm here. Like, I got a second chance at life. I know that didn't come with another reason, you know? So the podcast development includes your website, which I design with WordPress on using the PowerPress plugin, using Blueberry, who I mentioned earlier. And I have a code if you want. I think it's a month or two free. I do all of the back end podcast website engineering and syndicating it to all of the global platforms that I'm on as well. So if you go to kellyannegorman.com and you see all the links to all of the podcast networks I'm on and syndicated to, you would be there as well. Royalty music, I send you a ton of my favorite links. You can choose, it's like, I don't even know, tens and thousands of audio clips. It's all royalty free, which is what you want. You don't need a lawsuit for using somebody's music. And I also set up the hosting platform. So basically, that's all the web stuff. And then going into the branding, repurposing, setting up a marketing structure, everything is done for the podcast. Just as I mentioned earlier, using all my favorite apps. So some of the platforms that you would be on are Apple, iHeart, Pandora, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Podchaser, Deezer, Android, TuneIn, JioSaavn, Ghana, Podcast Index, Audacity, and a couple others. And I know that's a lot, and some you probably aren't even aware of. And there's a huge audio audience in India, and I get a lot of downloads in India, and they're just searching for specific content that I guess I have. But those are networks that I think in the States people aren't really familiar with. And then I also give you coaching, like how can you make this podcast profitable if that's something that you're interested in. Affiliate marketing, like I mentioned earlier as well, like you might not be interested in that, or you may be really curious, like, oh my God, I have these 20 brands. I can definitely use those. I also show you how to pitch sponsors and create a media kit that you're always going to want in your back pocket. I'm very strategic, like I said, when I pitch brands and guests for coming on the show. LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I'm going to coach you on all those platforms and how you can make the best possible content for your show and be sharing it there, because every platform is so different. The production of the first 4 episodes when you launch come with this program. And that, of course, is including the SEO-driven notes and titles and all of that. I show you how to record. I give you step-by-step instructions for the show and commercials and all that fun stuff. I definitely should have gotten a drink. Sorry, guys. And then I write the scripts for you. I write the scripts for the intro, the outro, the official podcast description for your show, all of your commercials. That is based on the content that you give me. We probably go back a couple times. Sometimes I nail it I've nailed on the first couple times with a few clients. And then other times we go back and forth and we tweak it to make sure it's your verbiage. All the social media automation and funnel lesson and all of that. So basically you're getting a podcast writer, producer, developer, designer, engineer, syndicator, all in one shop. So that is what the podcast development includes. So if you go to yourpodcastproduction.com, you'll see all of that written out. But I just wanted to go through that list because it's a little bit lengthy. But by launching a show, you are either going to be driving traffic to yourself on your social media channels. And if this is for personal use and you want to just talk about Bravo shows like I love so much, first of all, I would totally tune in each and every day, but you just want to create a one-stop shop, like a landing page, and just put the link in your bio. I use Linktree for all my links, so you could do the same. You don't have to have a full-blown website. You could just use Linktree and pop in and drive all your traffic to your Instagram or Facebook. Use that link, pop in all your affiliate links. You could just use mine as a reference. That's what I always say when I upgrade LinkedIn profiles. Or do a LinkedIn sales training. I always tell my client who's hired me, like, just use mine as a reference and then make it your own. It's just so much easier because I've already done all the work for you. So like, why would you do like 2 steps? It just doesn't make sense. So go to Linktree, go to my Instagram at Kellyanne Gorman Official, look at my Linktree, and Linktree I actually did a TikTok about this, upgraded so many features, even on the free version. I have the free version. I still am allowed to utilize the video and just so much more that they've implemented into the free version, which is amazing. So check mine out, see what I'm up to there, and then make it your own. So when you do launch a podcast, or you do launch a YouTube video, or you do launch, Spotify Live, which I'll share in a minute, you want to share that link. And so if you need one area to share all of your links that will make you money, even if you have absolutely no interest in podcasting, but you want to start affiliate marketing, which again, I'll talk about in another future episode this week, that's where you want your links to live. Use Linktree. And I have so many videos on my TikTok about how to actually do it. I just did one a couple weeks ago. Actually, maybe it was last month, about all the new features and upgrading your specific Linktree link. So it's like a tongue twister. So let me know if you have any questions about that. But speaking of Spotify Live, I went live yesterday for the first time, and I just pulled everybody on my social. So go check out times. I'm looking for times. So with all these brand new mini episodes this week, and then future episodes with my guests, I'm going to be doing Q&As after the show. And really what I would like is to get a wine sponsor, and then we really have a fun after party. But I'm going to do Q&A sessions, and I'm curious which times work. So you can go to my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my Facebook, wherever I am online, and click the Linktree link that I just spoke about. And you can follow me on Spotify so that you get notified when my new episodes go out, as well as when my live shows are about to happen. So I would love your thoughts on a time. Which times work best for you? Something later at night, in the afternoon, because it is live. So I want to definitely be answering as many questions as I can, or just have a fucking party. I mean, it's totally up to you guys, but I would love to do both. I'm just saying. So I'm really excited to be starting that journey over on Spotify. So again, follow me on Spotify. Make sure you are signed up and following me, because that's the only way that you're going to get notified when I open a room, when I go live, when new episodes go out. So make sure you do that. Now, lastly, before I completely lose my voice, sorry guys, I want to talk to you about the promotion that is still going on. So everything within the Everything is Messy collection, so go to everythingismessy.com. I'm talking apparel, home, kitchen, office decor, all my programs, products, and services, all the podcasting information I just shared. It's all 20% off right now. And that is the best time to dive in, when there is a promo. Who doesn't like a fucking sale? So head to everythingismessy.com, or you can even go to kellyanngorman.com, slide into my DMs, ask me any questions. I'd be more than happy to get on a phone call with you. But everything is 20% off, and that also includes free shipping on all of the store items. So the code is EIMC20. All of those links will be in the show notes. Again, everything I mentioned before about SEO, show notes, podcast descriptions, all of the above. Check out my show notes, and you can replicate those as well. Make them your own. I spend a lot of time making sure everything I want is there, so it's easily accessible through different apps, because some apps you need to embed the link. Some apps are not clickable links. So I always have to make sure that things are good to go, because this show is globally syndicated, that people have access to everything I'm talking about through the show notes. Now, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you notice that I also have a LinkedIn newsletter as well as my personal newsletter. And that's a huge area where I repurpose each and every episode. And that's where I'm sharing more guest content. And then on TikTok, I'm now repurposing my previous guest episodes and sharing that over there as well. So if you have any questions about my one-on-one calls where you want to just pick my brain, start your podcast today, your podcast production, how I really changed my life, because I'm telling you, this is unreal podcasting. And I feel like I'm just getting started even after 5 years. The sky is the limit. I just got an email this morning, Warner Music is starting an audio department. Netflix has an audio department. All these big brands realize billions of dollars of advertising money is coming into podcasting. The NAB convention is in Vegas right now. I actually was there years ago doing makeup, and now I'm on the podcasting side, which is so crazy. Full circle, I guess. But there's just so much growth and so much that you're capable of, and you could just be as creative as possible and then make money doing something that you love. This is literally my story. If you're interested in this happening to you, you're interested in helping others and sharing content that is part of your own story in life to help other people, whether it's personally or professionally, a podcast is what you're going to need in order to do that. This is something that will give you access to the entire world where nothing else can ever do that. It is absolutely insane to be heard in almost 100 countries. 100 fucking countries. How is that even possible? I don't even know. But it just goes to show you that my strategies and the systems I have created doing this for so long work. And I want to help you too. So if you're looking to launch, maybe you just need some market monetization help, or you need to rebrand, or you just need a fucking break and you're so lost and confused, I'm here for you. You know where to find me. I've gone through the ringer. I've had to take many mental health breaks. I've shared my entire life on this show, and it's just growing even more now because I'm bringing on the best fucking guests that have the most incredible stories to help you even more. And they're experts I want to learn from. So that's why they're here in the first place. So I'm really excited to share more on these up and coming mini episodes. This one was actually a little bit longer than a mini, but this is obviously a huge topic and a massive part of my life. So again, if you have any questions about podcasting, slide into my DMs, go to my website, send me a message, and I would love to answer them for you. Until tomorrow, we are going to be talking about a whole new topic, so stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in to Kellyanne Cares, a one-of-a-kind show created to motivate, stimulate, educate, and inspire you. And I hope that happened for you today. As I mentioned in the intro, I would love your feedback on today's episode. Head to Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or your favorite podcast app to leave a review for the show. I would truly appreciate it. For more information on myself, the show, my book, and the programs, products, and services I've created, visit kellyanngorman.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for my weekly newsletter, join the podcast community, and check out the brands I'm currently loving. Let's continue today's conversation. You can connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Kellyanne Gorman Official. All my other social handles will be available for you in the show notes. If you have a product, brand, story, or service you would like to share on the show, send me a message on kellyanngorman.com today. As always, thanks for listening, sharing, and reviewing. I wouldn't be here without you, and I'm so grateful I get to do what I love each and every day. Wishing you a happy, healthy, positive, and productive day, and I'll talk to you again soon.